Hello and welcome to our Tuesday TNT. It's a bit of a damp day, although I think it's going to be clearing up throughout the day. Now the fishermen have already been off this morning, the first time they've been heading out since the worst of the monsoon, and they'll be doing some shrimp farming and bringing it back. Then they'll be drying it on these wooden trays behind me. But a bit of a flurry of activity up the front of the beach house today. Welcome to our Tuesday TNT. And back in the comfort of our front room overlooking the Andaman Sea. Good luck to the fishermen. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel because that really helps us along the way. But we'll start with some economic news. We go to bangkokpost.com. World Bank cuts Thai growth to 3.4%. The World Bank has trimmed Thailand's economic growth forecast for this year and next year, based on anticipation the country's exports will contract due to easing global demand. Tourism and private consumption are the key fuel driving economic growth. And Thailand's economic growth has been trimmed by the World Bank to 3.4% from an earlier estimate of 3.6%. And next year's economic growth has also been cut by 0.2% from 3.7% back to 3.5%. And Thailand's goods exports are expected to contract by 2.1% this year in terms of US dollars, owing to reduced demand from major advanced economies. And foreign tourist arrivals are projected to reach the pre-pandemic level by the end of next year. Well, that's a confident prediction, and in some areas around Thailand that might be true. And the World Bank stated that the growth in the region remains higher than the growth projected in other emerging markets and developing economies. And the East Asia Pacific region is now projected to grow by 4.6% this year. Meanwhile, growth in China is projected to be 5.1% this year. And a spokesperson for the World Bank says the East Asia and Pacific regions will be the fastest growing and the most dynamic of the world's major regions this year. So speaking of dynamic, let's check the US dollar versus the Thai baht, and this from xe.com. And this graph shows a week of the graph, and the red line is the start of October, and we can see that currently it's up to 37.03, and the trend is certainly for more Thai baht to the US dollar, certainly in the short term. Let's check some more forecasts, and this is from OECD.org. And this is an interim report from last month. Let's try and put Thailand's 3.4% growth for this year into perspective. And this is showing growth rates for this and next year. India certainly leading the way. China, although down a bit on past projections, are still at 5.1% this year and projected to be 4.6% next year. Indonesia also doing well in the region with a 4.9% projected GDP. Then the G20 emerging economies, an average of 4.5% growth this year. Then Turkey, Mexico and Brazil also growing economies this year. Then in the middle there we've got the United States with a 2.2% growth this year down to 1.3% next year. And some more of the more advanced economies also just slowing down for this year and next year. And down the bottom of this chart, you don't want to be in Argentina at the moment. Now heading back to home, and the BangkokPost.com saying Satar urges arms deals delay. And the source told the Bangkok Post yesterday that Mr. Satar has instructed the Defence Minister and the PM's Secretary-General to hold talks with leaders of the armed forces to ask them to defer their arms procurements for the 2024 fiscal year for the time being. The source said the PM wants the budget to be spent on urgent efforts to help the people. Budgets that have already been approved will remain unchanged, and the newly appointed Royal Thai Air Force Commander has confirmed the government had asked the armed forces to prioritise efforts to deal with natural disasters such as flooding, forest fires and haze problems. More about the flooding in just a moment. And he said that the RTAF needs to eventually buy new jet fighters to replace its ageing fleet of F-16 fighters, and they're based in Nakhon Ratchasima, which will gradually be decommissioned between 2028 and 2031. He said the RTAF will present the procurement plan in the next fiscal year and will ensure taxpayers' money will be spent in the country's best interests and for the sake of national defence. And they're planning to retrofit their BT-67 utility aircraft with a water tank so that it could be used to combat forest fires and drought during the dry season. You can bet your bottom dollar that the new Prime Minister has pointed up to the north of Thailand and said, next year's forest fires and plantation fires, we want to really cut those down. Now, we were speaking about flooding. Let's go to those stories. ThaiPBSWorld.com says villages in Sukhothai flooded as the Yom River embankment collapses. And one gaping hole in Ban Wang Yai is about 100 metres long, causing excess water to sweep in, and about 500 households are now underwater. And several areas downstream of the Yom River in Sukhothai have been flooded since Saturday. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Disaster Prevention and Mitigation is advising people living along the Chao Phraya River in Uthai Thani, Chainat, Singbury, Angtong, Supanburi, Ayutthaya, Lopburi, Pathum Thani, Nonthaburi and Samut Prakan to take precautions and stay updated on the water situation as the water level is steadily rising. And somewhere there between Ayutthaya and Samut Prakan you've also got Bangkok. And the National Water Command Centre, meanwhile, says the level of the Mun River in the northeastern province of Ubon Ratchathani is expected to peak at 7.8 metres tomorrow before it starts to recede gradually. And Nation Thailand reporting Ayutthaya on alert for flooding as the Chao Phraya Dam opens gates. And Ayutthaya is preparing to cope with expected flooding after the Chao Phraya Dam opened its floodgates, releasing 1,200 cubic metres per second, affecting many areas of Bangkok's neighbouring province. And water levels in the Chi River are rising, and then further down the rear end of the river in Ubon Ratchathani province is expected to experience rising water levels, along with a trend of increasing water levels in the Mekong River. And yes, I know my pronunciations are all over the place. I'm a bit stuffed up today, so that's certainly not helping. This is TNT on a Tuesday. Hi, just a quick interruption, and happy to report there's only one boat left here this morning. All their other boats are out. 5-Star Marine taking people out on bespoke VIP charter tours off the island of Phuket. Now, if you'd like some more information, there's a link in the description below. You can even click on that website or type it into your Google machine. But thank you to my sponsors, 5-Star Marine. Checking all the main stories from around Thailand on a Tuesday, Nation Thailand reports 2 unidentified bodies found in a container shipped from the Philippines. And Thai officials are trying to identify 2 decomposed bodies found with a T-shirt of a Filipino fraternity group inside a container shipped from the Philippines. And officials at the inland container depot at Lat Krabang district found the bodies when they opened the containers to clean inside. Officials said the bodies were decomposed beyond recognition and there were no identification documents with them. Forensic officials at the scene could not identify the sex of the bodies and could not tell whether they were Thai workers or not. And further down, the container was shipped from the Philippines on September the 24th and arrived at the Lam Chabang deep seaport on September the 28th, and then it was sent to the ICD depot on Monday. So mystery surrounding those 2 bodies arriving in a container from the Philippines. Going to the South China Morning Post, and flights from China to Thailand almost full amid visa waivers. And flights from China to Thailand have been more than 90% full. This according to Thai Airways International, after Southeast Asia's second largest economy temporarily relaxed visa rules for visitors. Thai Airways, which is going through debt restructuring after COVID, said last month it plans to increase its flights to 5 Chinese cities to 56 a week, up from 49. That's starting from December the 1st. Chinese tourists from September the 25th to February the 29th next year can enjoy visa-free entry to Thailand as the popular holiday destination seeks to boost flagging tourist numbers from Asia's biggest economy. 8 months into 2023, arrivals from China are only about 50% of pre-pandemic volumes. And the addition of the new terminal, that's the new SAT-1 terminal at Suvarnabhumi Airport, comes as Thailand is expecting a rush of tourists during the so-called high season from now until the end of February for the local travel industry. And the Prime Minister, who attended the terminal's soft launch, said his government was promoting tourism as it can quickly help stimulate the nation's sagging economy. He says tourism can create jobs and income for the Thai people quickly. And Satar's government, which took power earlier this month, has waived visa requirements for Chinese and Kazakh travellers for a 5-month period to lure more holidaymakers as Thailand's economy faces headwinds from rising in-oil prices and sluggish exports. And further down there, the government also plans to invest about 89 billion baht to expand flight capacity at the airports in Krabi and the resort island of Phuket, and to build a new airport in Phang province, which will conveniently be about a 15-minute drive in that direction. And tourists are flocking back to Maya Bay in Krabi after the reopening. This reported by the PhuketExpress.com. And the Marine National Park has limited the number of visitors permitted to 375 per 1 hour round trip. After an hour, the 375 visitors have to leave the bay, and visitors are allowed until 4 p.m. daily. And I'm reliably informed that before that 2-month closure we've just had of Maya Bay to give it a bit of a rest, that 375 number might have been pushed to perhaps 376. And swimming is not allowed at Maya Bay, but snorkeling and diving are allowed in deeper water. And there's a photo from the PhuketExpress.com that was taken yesterday showing, well, it doesn't look too crowded. Let's hope that people can keep enjoying Maya Bay. They've been spending money over the past couple of years to put in new infrastructure so people arrive at the back of Koh Phi Phi these days, keeping people and boats out of the actual bay and, I suppose, giving a better tourist experience. And we go now to ASEAN now, and a mysterious man in a suit causes stir in Pattaya. Well, this is either lost in translation or perhaps a slow news day in Pattaya. And Pattaya residents and passers-by were bewildered on Sunday when a man elegantly dressed in a suit was found acting erratically in the middle of Sukhumvit Road. Yes, you don't usually see a lot of people dressed up in suits, particularly beige suits with a yellow shirt. The unknown individual, sporting a brown suit, a yellow shirt, black hat and sunglasses, was waving his mobile phone amidst the traffic, causing vehicles to brake abruptly and stirring alarm among the locals. He was last seen entering a nearby shopping mall, but efforts to locate him within were futile. Later, it was revealed that the man is popularly known as K. Roy Lan. The public is familiar with his face, yet his sudden, unexplained appearance in the middle of the street has left the city abuzz. And questions about the man's identity and the reasons behind his peculiar behaviour linger. The incident continues to be the talk of the town, with residents and authorities alike seeking answers to this enigmatic occurrence. And there he is, standing out in the midday sun on Sukhumvit Road, maybe needing a jacket one size bigger. Not sure about pairing it with a yellow shirt. Then again, people complain about my shirt taste as well. Well, thank you for watching today. Hopefully you're a little bit more up to date. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.